Everybody, and welcome to another Max Bikes video. Today, guys, we're going to be testing the preview for OEMs. This is the fourth installment in the preview series here for the Beta 19 release that is coming soon. Obviously, we've tested all three of the previous ones. We're now on the fourth. I'm going to be just yapping in this video, telling you guys what I like, what I don't like, and obviously don't take what I say as gospel. Test these bikes if you guys can. Other than that, hit that sub with that like button. Enjoy the video, boys. Alright, boys, we are in. Obviously, we're going to start here at Anaheim 1. I do want to switch around some tracks, though. I want to get on a supercross track that has ruts and stuff. Just kind of try to test everything, and then I'll get on an outdoors track and see how it feels there. But yeah, if you guys have not been watching my videos on these preview bikes, basically, I just get on them, I test them, I feel the 450 out, the 250. I've been sticking to the Yamaha 450 and 250 for all these videos, just so I can have some continuity in the testing and not change my opinion just because I changed the bike. So yeah, we do have some changes, which I'm going to talk about right now. Let me read these real quick. All right, so first of all, we have three different changes to the tires. We got fine-tuned how tires build up grip during acceleration, braking, sliding, and climbing, resulting in smoother control. Apparently, tires gonna be a little bit easier to control. All right, so I find that very interesting. Now, I don't know from which tire they're doing this from. I'm guessing it's just from the one that they were doing for preview 1, 2, and 3, which apparently those tires never changed. It was just the same tire every time, even though they felt different every time, which was really interesting. Well, I should say the first two previews, those tires felt somewhat similar. The third one, to me, was just, that was weird. I mean, that was really weird. I didn't really understand how that was the same tire, but apparently it was. So they've changed that. It's going to be a little bit more smoother. Then they say enhance the tire's ability to handle rapid changes in wheel load in relation to if the bike is riding under pressure or leaned over. This improves traction, especially when going through rough terrain or hooking into ruts. So it's improving traction. This was more traction, I think. I don't really know. That's interesting. And they say added a feature allowing the tire to slightly shift off center on the rim under certain forces, making traction even more dynamic and responsive. I don't even know how to really explain what that means, but I'm not gonna act like I know what it means, okay? We're just gonna see how this tire is feeling today, and I'm gonna let you guys know exactly what I think, comparing it to preview 1, 2, and 3. And as far as the bikes themselves, they increased rear brake strength, which I think is really interesting. I think this is a much needed change that's been needed in MX bikes, because, bro, when I used to do like wheelies and stuff, like I used to try to do bike life. I did a challenge on TikTok where I tried to do a minute wheelie. For whatever reason, when I would hit the back brake, because like, you know, I'm about to loop out, so I hit the back brake, sometimes it just wouldn't work. So I don't know if that has anything to do with this. I always thought the way the rear brake works in this game is very odd. But anyway, they apparently increased the strength of the rear brake and then removed that weird e-bike sound in the files. So you shouldn't be hearing the what they call the driveline sound anymore. I didn't really mind that. There were some people that weren't messing with it. You probably could have just put a sound mod over it though at the end of the day. But yeah, so those are all the changes that are given to us here. And so I don't really know what to think. All we got to do is test them out. Test the bike out. How is it feeling? First impressions after doing a couple laps here. Pretty easy bike to ride. It's not super challenging. I am on the stock tire, which is the 120/80 in the rear, and that's what we're going to be really talking about today, is how are these rear tires feeling. That's been really just the main point of discussion with these bikes. And so far, it is slipping, like right there, but yeah, it does feel pretty controlled. It definitely doesn't feel like the preview 3 where it was like just re-gripping up at these really weird times and not even really letting you slip the tire very long. So that's a good thing. That's a W. It definitely feels a bit more like the preview 2 bikes, I would say. But I need to really give these things a test here. All right, so that was really interesting there. So about midway through that corner, I got to second gear and I just got on it because I was going to see if I could like quad in here. And the tire did not let me. It said, no, sir, we're going to slip, which is a massive W. It feels very different from the Beta 18 bikes that we currently have. Tons of slip into that corner. I wasn't even really on the gas there. I want to test this rear brake out. That's what I'm really interested in. How is that going to feel? If it has more strength, but the tires like they have a bit less traction. Oh my God, holy. Insane slide there. Again, we're on the 120, which I would think wouldn't slide a ton. So honestly, I want to try the 100 tire after this, because I feel like that tire is going to slip so aggressively in these corners. I mean, that is sliding a lot. Now, I can obviously manage it, but if I just like act like I don't care and go into corners, yeah, it's going. So I like that a lot. Definitely adds a skill gap. It makes it a lot harder. But if you have throttle control, like, to me, these tires feel pretty damn easy. Like, you just gotta be smooth. So I don't even really think these bikes are that hard to ride. I would still like to see them be a little bit harder, but yeah, the 120/80 so far on the 450 feels pretty good. It's got that slip going, which is great, but pretty easy to control overall. All right, now we have the 100 rear, which should be the thinnest tire that you can run. And I am now going to see how this tire is feeling. Holy, wait a second. That thing held grip in that corner. I was slipping on the 120. Maybe I'm just tweaking a little bit. Let me keep riding a little bit. Maybe we gotta break it in. We gotta break in the tire. Okay, there we go. We got some slip into there. Still controllable. Okay, the 100 definitely feels a lot better in the whoop sections, which is very important when it comes to Supercross, because if you got speed in the whoops, you can gain a lot of time. Oh my goodness. Okay, so I got a weird front tuck there. The reason I did is because the back tire didn't really give much, which feels odd to me since this is the thinner tire. I feel like it's not breaking traction like the 120 was. It broke a bit there. That felt more like the 120. Tire's fast though. Feels like it's got a ton of speed in a straight line. Like, honestly, I feel like I could hit the quad in on this next section up here. I don't want gear to hit it in though. Let me try third gear. No, I've lost so much there. It's probably second gear is probably your best bet. But yeah, I mean, there is slip, but it's definitely a lot less than I expected for the 100. Like, this tire, at least for the 450, is probably like the best tire. It's better than the 120/80, but I haven't tried the 120/90, which has been what some people have called the broken tire, aka it has a lot of traction. So I'm gonna try that after this. But okay, that's so weird. It's like one time I front tuck in that corner, and then when I get on a little bit of gas, the back wheel is just gone. So to me, I'm gonna be honest here, I don't feel like this tire has more control than the Preview 1 or 2. Preview 3 obviously had an infinite control, like that was easy. But 1 and 2, I liked them because they slipped, but they were very controllable. Now this is still controllable, but to me it's less control. Like, it feels like when you get that, like, the true slip on it, it's like ice. You can still control it, but it doesn't feel as variable. Like, it doesn't feel like there's as much of a gradient in traction. And obviously I haven't ridden the Preview 1 and 2s in a while, so maybe this is like the exact same and I'm just capping. But when I reach into the noggin and I think about riding the Preview 1s and 2s, I think it is a little bit different. But I don't know if it's necessarily a bad thing. Like, I don't dislike it. Now, as far as like cutting down, which is something I talked about a lot with the Preview 3s, I don't really know how that would work, because if you're trying to use the power to shift the bike, like, I mean, you can cut down, obviously, you can make it happen, but is it viable? To me, it doesn't feel like it. It feels like it loses so much traction that it's like just ice. You know, like, it's not regaining, which is sort of counter, like, indicative of what I said about the Preview 3, because that bike I said was gripping up too early, but to me, this one's gripping up too late. So I don't know what to think, bro. Am I crazy? I don't know. Maybe. We're on the 100 though, so maybe I gotta get on the 120/90 and try that out. Let's do that right now, boys. Now, I would think, since a lot of these corners are not very sloped, you know, they have a very gradual slope, and I think this was done because I think Stone Rider kind of knew how OP the Beta 18 bikes were coming into Anaheim 1, and so he didn't want to build steep berms that allowed people to just completely just wide open rail them, right? Because what happens when you make a berm not as steep is your lean angle has to be farther. It's farther over, which then means you're going to lose traction quicker. So I think that's why he did that, which to me would make the back tire slip more, right? So let's see how this tire is feeling on these. Okay, it is slipping, which is good. All right. Oh, I feel like I actually had a lot of traction there. It's gonna stick in second gear. This tire actually feels pretty good. I like this. This feels more controlled than the other two tires I tried. Oh, I lost traction in the sand. Wow, this is actually really interesting. It may even feel quicker in a straight line too, which is odd. I need to try it in the whoops. Bro, if this thing just rails the whoops with this tire, that's kind of OP, bro. This is definitely the best tire, though. I can say that very confidently. It definitely has the most traction. Feels the most controlled. Okay, yeah, it's cracked in the whoops. It's so cracked. You could probably wheelie the whole whoop section. See, these bikes, compared to the other 3 previews, feel really easy to get through the whoops on. Like 1 and 2 were a bit harder, which I did enjoy. But overall, I feel like this tire is just too OP. That's what I'm feeling. Feels like it just has a lot of traction, very controlled, and I feel like there's no real reason to run that 100, even though I did like riding the 100. But because when it slipped, it lost traction so quickly and so intensely, it feels like, you know, maybe that gain speed you'd get in like a straight line or something like that, maybe in the whoops, even though this tire felt really good in the whoops. I don't really think it's worth it because this thing just grips so much, and I feel like consistency-wise, this tire is just way too OP. I mean, even in that corner, that's a pretty flat corner, and I'm getting no tire slip there. And I'm being nice on the throttle in second gear, but I'm still railing the corner. I mean, I'm going pretty damn fast. It may not look fast because we're so used to beta 18, but I don't know. I'm gonna try to cut down. Oh. All right, I'll try to cut down this corner. It's a good corner to try it. Again, it's like, you can do it, right? Like, it is physically possible, but it is so much worse than just following the top of the corner. So that sucks in my opinion. All right, sue me. All right, I want Stone Rider to make tracks that don't have pre-made in most of the bull corners. Now, some corners should have pre-made, because some corners are just always going to be OP to ride the outside, but I think it'd be cool to have tracks that we could ride that don't have pre-made. I guess the AMS versions don't have pre-made, but like in the actual racing, you know, turn the E-Road up, let us create our own ruts. I think it'd be sick. This tire has way too much traction, I'm just going to say it. I mean, there's no reason to ride any other tire. This is the best tire. End of story. End of discussion. I think it is the best tire. Feels very good. If I got a nice setup for these whoops, I bet I could wheelie through half of them. So that's my opinion. Do I hate it? No. Do I think it's the best they could do? No. I like the Preview 2s, okay? That's my opinion. The Preview 2s, I was vibing with them things. Now, I haven't been on them in a while, but to me, the Preview 2s are GOAT, all right? Those are my GOATs. I think they, you know, Preview 2s with a little bit less traction. That's all I want in life. You know what I'm saying? That's all I'd be wanting. These aren't bad, though. If they release these, would I be pissed off? No. If they release these with the 120/90 that I'm feeling right now, then I might be a little bit pissed because no one's ever going to use another tire. We're going to go to another Supercross track with ruts, and we're going to keep testing these. Maybe I'll change my mind, boys. All right, we're coming here to Arlington. There is pre-made ruts on this track, and it's a track I'm very familiar with. Also, some interesting lines that I'd like to try to hit on this 250. I need to test 250 in this video. I can't just sit on the 450. So I do want to spend some time. Now, we are on the 100 rear, so this is the tire that they have on the stock setup. It is the thinnest tire. We're just going to feel it out. See how it's feeling in ruts. Now, I do expect these tires to obviously grip up a lot more in ruts. I don't expect to really lose the back end much at all, especially on the 250 because this is the lighter bike, the less powerful bike. Losing traction is going to be a lot harder. But I do just want to feel... Okay. I'm getting very interesting feelings from this bike right off the bat. Wow. Tons of traction. Can I just say that real quick? 100 tire, by the way. Tons of traction. I'm already feeling it. So much traction. Okay, yeah, suspension-wise, definitely need to put a setup on this baby. Oh my god, this suspension is very interesting. But we're the Jan, all right? We can still maintain. We'll be all right. Yeah, I mean, I'm not getting much traction loss at all. To me, this honestly feels like I'm riding a Beta 18 bike. If you told me, yo, you're riding Beta 18 right now, you just got placeboed, I'm gonna be honest, bro. I would literally believe you, genuinely. This feels like a Beta 18 bike. Like, I don't feel it really. The only difference I feel is like how the front end feels, and then also just the suspension. I'm trying to test the back brake. That didn't feel any different to me. Maybe this is a bad track to test on. Maybe I need to go back to Anaheim 1 and test it. It's probably not a good idea to switch tracks. I'm gonna go back to Anaheim 1 real quick. Let me try this real quick. All right, sorry. I should have stayed on this track. That is completely my fault. Let's just pretend like we never went to the rutted one. Wipe the clean slate of memory. How is the bike feeling? I do expect it to have more traction than the 450, obviously. So I'm not going to be surprised by it, but how much more traction is it going to have? Because with Preview 3, this was the interesting about Preview 3. It honestly felt like the 250s had less traction than the 450s. That's what my opinion was, especially in motocross, especially. Supercross, because it felt like I could cut down the 250s on the Preview 3s, but I couldn't cut down on the 450s, so I thought that was very odd. Okay, we're definitely getting a lot more traction loss here, so this is starting to make more sense once I actually have some continuity in what I'm testing. It's what I would expect for a 100 tire, I guess. But again, I'm feeling this like very aggressive slip in the 100. So to me, the viability of this tire is out the window. If I go to the 120 or 80 or the 120/90 and I'm not getting that feeling, or I'm not losing a ton of speed in a straight line, to me, that there's no reason to ever even run this tire. It's just useless. Yeah, I mean, it's got slip, it does its job, but man, it's definitely a hard one to ride. This one's not an easy one, so I want to see how the 120's feeling. All right, we're going straight to the 120/90. I just want to get this out of the way and test it. Wait a second. Okay, that actually felt pretty good. It did have some slip though, so that's a surprise. I mean, way easier so far than the 100. Like, it's not even the discussion. Now, this is the 129, not the 120/80. So this is the widest tire and tallest tire, which I said was too OP on the 450s, and I'm getting the same vibe here on the 250s. This tire is insane, bro. I'm still getting that light slip, you know, just that little bit, you know. It kind of feels like a Preview 2, which I like, but I feel like all these tires, you know, it's not very balanced. You know, I'm measuring a 108.3. That's a pretty good lap time on a 250, you know, and for that only being my first lap with this tire, I think that kind of proves there's a bit of a gap here in what's viable and what's not. So I think that's important to address, at least on tracks like this. Now, maybe on rutted tracks, it's different. I don't know. I feel like this 120 is just too OP, though, and I don't see why anyone wouldn't run it, even if you maybe are losing speed in certain parts of the track, which I don't think you are, but even if that is the case, the consistency factor is going to get people to keep running this. So if we can lose this tire or lose some grip on it or something, I'm all for it. You know, like, I like these bikes so far, but damn, this 120/90 is OP as fuck. All right, we're back to Arlington. Obviously already tested on the 250 with the 100 tire. Felt like it was pretty easy. There wasn't a ton of loss of traction. But I think obviously everyone's just going to be hugging the 120/90 either way. Just from what I felt there at Anaheim, that tire is it's just the best. You know, I don't know what to say. So now I'm on the 100 tire on the 450 here at Arlington, seeing how that feels. Then we're going to switch to the 120. Yeah, definitely losing a lot more traction on the 450, which is good. Okay, that's how it should be. So I'm not surprised. Let me see if I can put a nice lap down, and then we'll get on the 120. But so far, I'm feeling like this 100 is a useless tire. It is too much loss of traction. Yeah, no, I can't even hit the rhythms, bro. I mean, of course I do that, because, you know, it's the Jan we're talking about here. Oh, shit. Yeah, I don't even know. This tire is just buns. Just so buns. It's so buns. Let me try the 110 real quick. Let me see where it just cuts off, where it's just unusable. All right, 110. Bit wider of a tire. Let me feel the difference here. Let me feel the contrast. Oh, yeah, that's a big one. Big contrast, ladies and gentlemen. Holy. A triple out. Damn, these jumps are a stretch on these bikes. Hit the jump line. Dude, the front end is so stable, bro. Oh man, it's insane. All right, this tire's usable. I wouldn't say this tire's that bad. It is definitely more slip, but it feels pretty fast. So I think just the 100 is just a little bit too bad, and the 120/90 is a bit too good. I feel like the 110 and the 120/80 are honestly in a decent spot. I like the slip. They do provide a challenge, but not so much of a challenge where it's like, all right, this is insane. So that's my opinion on Supercross. You know, the only complaint that I do have is sometimes it feels like when you try to cut down or something and you're trying to use the throttle to do it, right? It feels like it slips to a point where you don't like regain traction very quickly, which is the opposite of the Preview 3. So clearly they're going in a direction that is different from that, and I respect it. Is it the worst thing in the world? Hell no. I actually like these bikes. And I like the Preview 3s too. It was just that little thing that didn't really make sense to me. So I feel like these may slip a little bit too much in certain situations. I do like the slip, but maybe it could be a little bit more controlled. That's kind of my analysis. Preview 2 is my GOAT. I'm gonna keep saying it. But now I want to go to motocross here on this 450 and just test it out, see how we're feeling. All right, boys, we're at Indiana here. We're on the 450, and we're just running completely stock setup. 120/80 is the stock rear tire on the 450, so we're just running that. I'm gonna do maybe one lap, maybe a couple laps, see how we're feeling on them. It is very interesting to me going from Supercross to motocross, just feeling the difference in how the bike rides. They're very, very different. Obviously, Supercross a lot slower speeds through the corners. Motocross a lot more high speed stuff. And obviously you got a lot more ruts as well, so we're gonna see how this feels. So far, feeling a lot of slip in the back. I shouldn't say a lot, but I'm feeling the slip. You know, I'm feeling it. Feels very controllable. Doesn't feel, honestly, it doesn't feel too much different than the Beta 18s. So far, at least. Maybe my mind will change. These bikes have so much traction on the tops of the tire. Or the bottoms of the tire, I should say. Like when the bike is in a straight line. They do have a ton of traction. Maybe even more than the current Beta 18s. Another thing I want to test is sand, because I haven't done that yet. And I know there's a little sand section on here that at least give us an idea of what the tires do. So we're about to come up on that. But to me, yeah, I mean, pretty easy. I think obviously it'd feel a lot easier on the 120/90, which again, that tire needs to get either completely reworked or needs to get removed, because it's way too OP. No one's going to run another tire. I cannot iterate that enough. Please, God, do something with that. It can't be there. It really can't. Oh. Anyways, sand section coming up. Bike's easy to ride. I'm losing a little bit of traction, but not a lot in these ruts. They're feeling pretty damn fast. Let me tell you something. Oh, Johnny. Yeah. You know what? No, that's what we're gonna do. I'm sorry. This video is going on for so long, and I've just been yapping so much. I need to stop. We're gonna go to Southwick real quick. I have to just try this. This thing felt interesting in the sand, and I want to go to a true sand track. All right. So again, completely default in sand. I'm actually gonna test it and see how it feels here. All right. Yeah, I haven't been on Southwick in a while. So, wow, definitely a lot more swaps. So I think sand's gonna feel a lot different on these previews because of how good the front end is now, which was one of the hardest parts about sand on the Beta 18 bikes, is just the front end. That you get a lot of front tucks, but yeah, I mean, so far, I mean, the thing is munching. And the Jan, as many of you probably know, not the greatest sand surfer to ever touch the sticks, let me tell you. Not something I'm great at, but this bike makes it pretty damn easy, boys. I mean, you lose the back end a little bit there, but for the most part, not too bad. It definitely feels like it has a lot of speed in a straight line, like a lot. When I say a lot, I mean a lot. Like, it really grips. But maybe that's the same on the Beta 18s. I don't know. The suspension on this thing's obviously not great either for this, but definitely a lot of traction sand, so I don't really know how to feel about that. I don't know if they can fix that or not. I feel like it's too much traction, just from what I'm feeling. It's not terrible, though. Like, it's not, like, game-breaking, and if that's how it has to be, it's how it has to be. You know, there's not a lot of sand tracks on the circuit. I don't think people are going to really care too much if that's how it is. So, my opinion on these bikes, though, overall, is I like them. Maybe the slip can be a little bit more controllable in some instances on the 100 tire, because on the 120, it's extremely controllable, which I do like. It feels good, even though maybe a little bit too easy. So yeah, I think just trying to lower the skill gap between all the tires, or just make them a little bit closer, would be good. And then maybe try to lose some grip in the old sandy here. But that's probably going to conclude the yap sesh. I mean, the bikes aren't bad. I like them. I still like the Preview 2s more, but maybe that's just nostalgia talking, you know. These are definitely better than Preview 3s. That is not even a question. I'm fine with it. It is what it is. So we're going to see what happens. Maybe we get a Preview 5. Maybe they just say, hey, we're dropping it. And they just put it out there soon. I really don't know. I think obviously before SMX is the plan. So yeah, I don't have any details on anything. And even if I did, I wouldn't be telling people because, you know, they probably don't want that out. They probably want to announce it themselves. And so I'm obviously let that happen. But yeah, Preview 4s feel pretty damn good. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. And yeah, see you guys next video. Peace.